Hi everyone, welcome to SlipTwpKnit. I'm Shelby and I'm coming to you from Shelby Township, Michigan, where I do my knitting. I'm hoping to use this as a platform where I can talk about my knitting projects and the things I'm learning. I don't really have anyone in my life who knits like directly that I hang out with. So I was like, you know what? I see ladies doing this on YouTube all the time. I might as well try it. So I just wanted to tell you a little bit about me, what I'm like as a knitter, and then I can talk to you about some of the things I've made and some of the projects I'm working on. A note about the title of this podcast is SlipTwpKnit. I'm from Shelby Township, as I said. My name is Shelby. Shelby Township is also referred to as Shelby Twp or the Twipp, so that's how I got the name SlipTwpKnit. I guess I'll tell you a little bit about me as a knitter. I've been knitting since high school, really, in the scheme of things. Anyway, I started knitting in high school. I was not really an artsy kid, but I think I was a crafty one. I liked making stuff, and therefore there was one day I just got in a mood to make something. So I got this book from the library. Maybe you've heard of it. It was called Stitch and Bitch. So I got that book from the library, and then I got my hands on some gloriously hideous orange Lion brand yarn and some knitting needles, and I made my first scarf. It was really great. There were a lot of, because I still didn't really know what I was doing, so there were yarn overs. The thing ended up being like shaped like this. It kind of looked like, what's that one state? It ended up looking kind of like Vermont in the scheme of things, but like long. It was like 7 feet long too. So that was really great, but that was kind of what got me hooked on knitting back in high school. And then basically I was knitting scarves, but they were just really long swatches. And then in college, I kind of took a break from the knitting, especially because college ended up getting busy, and then I didn't knit for several years beyond that, and then I picked it back up again a couple years ago. But what do you know, knitting for me at least was like riding a bike. I never really forgot. So that kind of brings me to where I am today. Since picking it back up, I've gotten a little bit more adventurous. I've knitted some fingerless mitts, and I have discovered that I love knitting socks. So actually everything of what I'm going to show you that I have completed as a finished object for this is in fact a sock. So there's that. I also wanted to tell you a couple things about me when I'm not knitting, even though that's not really important. This is a knitting podcast, but when I'm not knitting, I like to read, listen to audiobooks. I like to watch shows on Netflix and Prime, or force my friend Tony to watch shows that I've already watched on Amazon Prime and or Netflix, because I like making Tony watch things, poor thing. What else do I like to do? I like a lot of things, but mostly I just, I like solitary activities. Knitting's just like that, but I would like to be able to talk to people about that, because every time I talk about knitting to people in my life, they're like, oh my gosh, you're such an old lady. And I'm like, but there are so many young people who knit, and people in, there is no age restrictions on knitting, and I think that's really great. So I guess I'll tell you a little bit about some things that I've worked on already. So I've really gotten into the groove of knitting socks this year. That's kind of my thing right now. I love it. I can tell you a couple things. Casting on is exciting, but also the worst. The cuff. Most of the time I just want to get through the cuff, because the sock part is the exciting part, but sometimes knitting a cuff is really exciting. Also very soothing. I prefer to do cuff down just because I hate grafting, and when you have to do a toe up, you have to graft. At least that's the way I bind off. I graft stitch the cuff together, and I hate that. Like, that's just my personal idea of hell. So I do mostly cuff down, but here's another catch. Heel and gusset socks, they fit me great. I kind of hate doing a gusset though, so we're just exploring. We're exploring, we're figuring things out, and I'm looking forward to telling you if I ever work up the courage to do an afterthought heel or fish lips kiss, because I'll tell you a little bit about what I have done. So I'll start now. These are my Woodland Walk Socks. These were the second pair of socks that I completed this year. I wore these today. They fit really nicely in my Skechers. So this pattern is called Woodland Walk. It's by Olivia. She goes by This Handmade Life on Ravelry and Instagram, and I'll show you a little detail. It's super cute, super fun. It's got a leaf motif. I did 5 repeats of that before I started the toe, and I knit these on SweetGeorgia yarn Tough Love sock in the colorway Cocoa, and I saw this color online and I was obsessed from the minute I saw it, because it's just the perfect, it's like the perfect brown, like perfect light brown color, I guess. It's just like it's basically what you look at when you make a cup of cocoa or you open a packet of Swiss Miss. Like, I love this color. I am all about this color. Also, I am all about this pattern because this is the first pair of this pattern I've made this year. It is not the last. I made another pair. I made a green pair of these for my friend Tony for her birthday. I am working on another pair right now, and I have plans for a 4th. So I'll actually show you what the pattern, I'm not going to show you what the pattern looks like, but I'm going to show you what my copy of the pattern looks like. It's pretty friggin' beat up. So it's like, I spilled coffee on it. It's been folded and refolded. Oh, and another thing about this sock is I have basically adapted the pattern for the heel flap on this sock for all the other heel flap and gusset socks I've made, because I just really like the garter stitch ridge, and then it's easier to pick up the stitches that way. So, and I knit these on a size US, a US 0 needle using magic loop. And then this is another pair of socks, again from a pattern by Olivia. These are her, what are they called? Tea and Scandal socks. They are part of her Miss Marple collection, and I'll give you a close-up. They're really cute, really lacy. This was my first time really knitting quite a bit of lace. Super cute. This yarn is a Knit Circus one in a speckle colorway, and I want to say it's Nobody But You, but it might be So Happy Together. It was one of their pink Valentine's Day colorways. And I'm happy with the way these turned out as well, especially considering I know I made mistakes when I was knitting these. I don't even know where they are anymore. So, and again, I knit these on a US 0 circular. And then these socks are my Hermione's Everyday Socks. I love this pattern. This is probably aside from the Woodland Walk Sock, which is probably it's probably going to be a forever favorite for me, the Woodland Walk Sock. These were really fun to knit. I'm also very fond of them. I was bedridden with scarlet fever when I knit these back in April. So, it's like, you know, it was just knitting kind of got me through it. But I'll show you the yarn and the texture. If you're unfamiliar, Hermione's Everyday Sock is a free pattern on Ravelry. It's also a super simple one if you're a beginner for socks, or just a beginner knitter, because you're only using knit and purl stitches. I also adapted, like I said, I didn't use the heel flap that she recommended we do in the pattern. I actually used the one from the Woodland Walk Sock. But I love this color. So this yarn is Leading Men Fiber Arts, and it's their Showstopper yarn in the color Can't Quit You. I love it. People who know me know this, my favorite color is orange, so I love the oranges and reds and yellows and greens in this. I just love these socks so much. I wear these probably more than the other ones. Not that I don't love my other ones, but I love these socks. And I have plans to knit more Hermione's Everyday Socks as well, probably soon. And then the last pair I'm going to share with you is my morning coffee socks. Again, these are a pretty simple pattern. These are the pattern is by the Crazy Sock Lady, also known as Kay. She made this pattern. It's a play on a 3x3 rib. I've never made a 3x3 rib before, so that was kind of fun. Again, super simple. Here's the texture and the color. Just knitting and purling, play on a 3x3 rib. And then the yarn I used for this is Hedgehog Fibers sock yarn in the color Deja Vu. I was pleasantly surprised by this yarn because I've heard a couple things about Hedgehog fibers like splitting on people, and it was splitting for me in the beginning, but once I got into the swing of it, it was easy. And I made these for the Crazy Sock Lady's knit along. She's doing a spring and summer sock knit along that I think ends at the end of this month or at the end of September. And then again, size 0, US size 0 needle. So I keep saying US size 0. I am a very loose knitter, so I have to go down sizes, and I'll tell you about that in a minute with one of my projects. Just had to pause that for a minute because I didn't want my camera shutting off. So I'll tell you a little bit about what I am currently working on. I have 3 projects on the needles, and one is this close to coming off. If I never saw this project again, it would be too soon, to be honest. But I am knitting a pair of socks for my mom for Christmas, and when they're done, they're both gonna look like this. These are the Thornfield Socks by Rachel Coopy. I'm knitting them on KnitPicks Stroll in the color Dogwood Heather, and they're super cute. They're gonna be super cute on. Like, I made my mom try them on, and I made her try them on with her eyes closed because I didn't want to completely ruin the surprise, but she knew I was knitting her socks for Christmas, so it'll be fine. But this is how far I am with sock number 2. I think this sock has 5 repeats of the instep pattern, and I just completed the 4th one, so I have one more round, and then I'm starting on the toe, which is great. Funny thing about this sock, or a really funny thing about me deciding to knit this sock, I was like, they're super pretty. They're very cable-y socks, and I have probably the absolute minimum experience knitting cables. Sock number 1 was not very fun. Sock number 2 has gone a lot better just because I know what I'm doing and I've gotten used to the pattern now. But if I never had to cable again after I complete these socks, I still think it would be too soon. I'm just, no more cabling. Probably not forever, because, you know, forever's an awfully long time. And I kind of want to make a pair of these for myself. But I'm not doing that for a while, because these are a pretty big pain in the derriere. Oh, and again, I'm knitting them on a US size 0. Like I said, loose knitter. So that's that one. The other pair of socks I'm working on is for my sister. And if you'll recall, I was talking about the Woodland Walk Socks and how I was knitting a third pair, and that's what I'm currently doing. And now that I'm thinking about it, I really hope my mom and sister are not listening or watching this. I doubt they will, but you know. But anyway, so this is a pair of Woodland Walk Socks for my sister for Christmas. I've completed sock number 1. There's some detail. Can you see the detail? No, probably can't. Come on. Oh, Jesus. It's just a leaf pattern. Pick it up. Okay, cool. So anyway, so when my sister came home for a weekend, I actually made her try the sock on to like, you know, see how comfortable the cuff fit her. She said it was a good length, so I only did 2 pattern repeats before I started the heel. My battery's about to die. Son of a... That is so disappointing. Anyway, Woodland Walk Socks for my sister in the KnitPicks colorway, KnitPicks Stroll colorway Ash. This is annoying. I'm gonna pause. Okay, we took a short break and charged the camera. Hopefully it works. Fingers crossed. Anyway, so I told you about the Woodland Walk Socks, the gray ones. I told you about the brown ones too, but I was talking about the gray ones when I decided to abruptly go charge my camera for a minute. And now it's about to rain, actually, or storm. I thought I heard thunder. Don't know. But I will try to, I'll try to make this fast. It's my pattern that goes there. All right. So my last project that I'm going to share with you is something different that is not socks, and this is a cowl project, and it is the Fakairo it's the Fakairo cowl, sorry. And I'll show you some details. I think it's super pretty. It's by Frenchie, also known as Rohan Knits on Instagram and on Ravelry. If you're unfamiliar with her, she is Maori from New Zealand, and she incorporates some traditional motifs into her knitting patterns, and this is one of them. I don't know, I'm not a third of the way done. Actually, I might be about a third of the way done. There's still a little bit to go. I have to do, so the way it's set up, you do like 24 setup rows, then another 24 rows for section A, 24 rows for section B, and then you do section C. You do those 24 rows twice, and then you do section D, which is 24 rows as well. I just finished section B, so this is what I've got. I'm super pleased with the way that this is turning out. I love it. I think it's going to be perfect for fall, and it's just so it's very different. The yarn I'm using is another SweetGeorgia yarn. It is Tough Love sock in the color Blood Orange, and I'm knitting this on US 3 needles. The pattern calls for a size 5, I think, but as I said, I'm a very loose knitter, so I have to go down 1 to 2 sizes for my needle. And then there's my cute little snowman, Progress Keeper. He has a red scarf, so I had to put him on my red cowl. So those are the 3 things I'm working on right now. I also love this ball of yarn. It looks like a tomato, and when I hadn't started it, the ball of yarn was literally like, it was this big. It was just a giant, it looked like a giant red tomato. It was a thing to behold. So those are the things I'm working on right now. Sorry that I'm a little distracted. This is my first podcast though, or my first whatever this is. I don't know if it's a podcast. I feel like podcasts are really more audible, but regardless, this is my first time. Hopefully I'll be getting better with for you guys. So I guess depending on how long this is, I thought I would share with you a couple of my dream knits or dream projects, things that I'm not working on right now that I'd like to at some point further down the road. So I have them written down because I thought that would probably be a good way of organizing them. So I've never actually knit an adult size sweater. I'm hoping to do that by the end of the year. Can't guarantee that. I'm kind of trying to stash bust a little bit, which means I'm really trying to like get a lot of socks off the needles because I have quite a bit of sock yarn that I just want to get through. That being said, I really want to knit a sweater, and the first sweater I want to knit is the Farmhouse Cardigan by Amy Christophers. She's also on Ravelry and Instagram as Savoring Knitting, and I saw this back in the fall. I saw this last fall, and I just fell in love with the texture. I don't want to say it's a waffle stitch, but it basically is. It's kind of a waffle stitch. It's got some texture to it, and I just fell in love with the texture of it, and I just knew that I had to make it at some point. So that's kind of what I'm hoping will be the first. That's the first sweater I want to knit. It might not be the first sweater I knit. I'm thinking though, I just think it's so pretty, and I'm thinking it would look really good in a brick red. That's kind of the color I'm looking for, or going for. It would look good in a lot of different colors. The one on the site is in gray, but I really want to knit it in brick red. So that's the very first one I want to knit. I also would at some point love to knit A Weekender by Andrea Mowry. And that one, I don't have a color in mind right now, but I'm thinking right now navy blue is probably a safe bet because navy blue is kind of a wardrobe staple for me. And then I have another one, and I don't want to say it's a sweater. It's kind of like a shrug, kind of a bolero, but it's kind of a hybrid. But it's the Santa Fe by Isabel Kramer. And I think that one looks super fun. I did not love it the first time I saw it, but the more I looked at it, I was like, I like that. So I'd like to do that one at some point. I think that would be a good one for springtime too. And I wish pink was my color. I think it would look really nice in like a coral or peachy pink, but I'll probably have to find a different color. Maybe purple. I don't know. I guess we'll figure it out when we get there. That's kind of a ways off because I want to knit my Farmhouse Cardigan first. And I have a couple shawls as well on my dream knits list. So the first one there is the Cowboys and Angels shawl. This is another one by Isabel Kramer. And I love the one on the site. It's yellow, the one that she, like the one in her picture. It's yellow. I'm kind of seeing that one in brown though, I think. I like the idea of it. I kind of love Westerns, and I really clicked on it because I like the name, because that's how I do things. So Cowboys and Angels, I clicked on it. I like it. I think it looks like it'll be a fun knit, and it looks like it'll be big enough and also cozy. I'm thinking I'll do it probably in brown. I also think it would probably be a good, if once you figure out how to knit it, once I figure out how to knit it, let me amend that. I think that would probably also be a nice pattern that I could probably learn and use if I ever needed to make like a scarf as a gift or something. So I'm looking forward to doing that one. I don't know when that's gonna happen. I need to de-stash first a little bit more. But you know, that is what it is. And then the other two that I want to do, there is the Good Vibes shawl, which is by, I want to say her name is Nadia Cretin-Lechen. She's French. She did the, is it Cosmic Girl shawl as well. I'd really like to do the Good Vibes one. I have the yarn picked out for that one, and that one is a Lolo Did It yarn in the color Wildwood Flower. And then I think for my contrasting color I'm gonna go with a light gray, because I think that would probably be a good one to use for, like, I think the light gray would probably lighten it up so I could wear it in spring if I was so inclined. And then the other shawl I want to do is the Dotted Rays by Stephen West, and I want to do this one in a fade. I'm not sure about colors for this one either. I'm sure that when I see colors I'll know. I think when I see a color I'll just know, you know. So those were what, 6 of my dream knits. I'm trying to keep this short. I don't want my podcast, I'm thinking at the absolute longest I'm looking for 40 minutes, but shorter would be better as well, so everybody who's watching can go watch other podcasts. So that being said, I saw Andrea Mowry's new design, the stone crop, and I'm in love, and I need to know how to do color work yesterday, because that one looks like it would be so much fun, and it's so cute, and it's got bobbles everywhere. So that might have to happen at some point, but who knows. She releases a lot of really great patterns that seem like a lot of fun, so who knows. I also just have a lot of things I want to knit between now and then anyway. So I guess that's about it. Thank you for tuning in and taking the time to watch me fumble through this first thing. So I appreciate you. If you made it the whole way through, thumbs up. Wow, I forgot the word. I'm just gonna say kudos. So thank you for watching, and if you are one of my friends who said that they would watch, I also appreciate you taking the time to watch, even though you may not care or have any interest in knitting. I appreciate you watching this with me. And if anybody wants to comment below, you know, go ahead and comment below. I will ask, you know, tell me what 1 or 2 of your dream knits are. I just kicked the tripod, whatever. And I will hopefully see you next time. I'm not exactly sure about what my upload schedule is going to be, but I'm going to try and keep it consistent to like the same day every 2 weeks is what I'm thinking. But thank you again for tuning in. I'm going to sign off, stop babbling, and let you get on with your day. Thank you for the 50th time, and I'll let you go. Bye.